Hello, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome back to Dear Little Sister. I am so happy my big sister Novada is
Oh,
here.
stop.
I've just been having a lot of fun with this anyway.
Okay,
Um,
that's great.
talking to
That's great.
women who have poured into my life, and some of the other women we're a little bit further apart in age, it's like 10 years, 15 years. But me and
Mhm.
you really grew up together, right? We're only
Yeah,
4 years apart. So, we hung out as teenagers and going
right,
to like youth conventions together.
right.
That was
Oh
a lot of
man,
fun.
it was a while ago.
And we stayed in the room, I know, before kids, before college, all the things, all the
Right.
things. But I'm just so happy to have you here today.
Thank you. I'm
Um,
honored.
can you tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do, and not just outside, but inside when it comes to church and your momhood and doing the
Okay. Well, I am born into this grand old Church
dance?
of God in Christ. Um, my grandfather was Bishop Jacob Stukes. I am one of 23 grandchildren. I am a PK. My father is a pastor in Greenville, North Carolina, and Charleston, South Carolina.
Mm.
Um, so I've been a part of this church. It's reared me in a young age,
Mhm.
and I have taken what I've learned and it's allowed me to navigate through life as a mom of
Mhm.
two beautiful children, Lennox, who is 7, and Nolan, who is 5. And as a professional, I am currently a clinical manager of a very prestigious dental practice in Westchester County, New York. I've been with this particular office for 12 years.
Mhm.
I started my dental career at the young age of 16,
Mhm.
my second job when my parents allowed me to start working.
Uh-huh.
And I've just grown to love the dental industry and the community and furthered my education in dentistry. I am an unlicensed dental hygienist,
Mhm.
and also it's allowed me to launch into entrepreneurship where I have a consulting business called Touch by Nova, which allows me to go into different dental practices to lend my knowledge of the dental industry.
Yes, I love it. Touched by Nova. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about those pivotal moments. You mentioned kind of as you've grown up and you discovered that this was what you wanted to do with your life,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
we're continuously evolving, right? We're always, moving forward, and there's always
Yes.
something different and new to get into.
Mhm.
And just to kind of reiterate why I wanted to have this conversation is because it's those moments where a lot of the time there's not a whole lot of effective guidance, right?
Mhm.
So from
Mhm.
the ages of like 16, 17 till like you get solidly into adulthood, there's that you're trying to find yourself, you're trying to silence
Right.
all the outside voices, but you still need support and you still need help,
Right.
you still need guidance. And then there's also just a lot of those light bulb, like aha moments, right? Like, I'm not a kid anymore.
I got this.
Essentially.
I got this.
And so, for you, what would you say were some of your just pivotal moments or defining moments that were just like, I have officially crossed over from this isn't kid business anymore, and now this is life.
I believe it was when my parents allowed me to start working just
Mhm.
overall. I was
Mhm.
15, I got my working papers. There were guidelines that I had to follow in order to be allowed to work. And
Mhm.
following those guidelines ensured that they trusted me.
Right.
So, with them trusting me, when I decided that, hey, I wanted to look for another job, which
Mhm.
was after school, my mom and my dad said, okay, well, there are still guidelines, and if
Mhm.
you can follow them, we'll allow you to continue your after school work. And I continue with that, and this is where I am now,
Um,
22 years later. 22 years later.
And isn't that crazy how time
Yeah,
just, you know,
very.
is, and it's like, wait a minute, 22 years.
22 years.
Where'd all this time
There's some
go?
days I look back and I'm like, wait, hold on.
Okay, so as you were continuing on though, right? And like
Hmm.
I think about when you actually officially got into your, let's say, your early 20s, right? Or you're kind
Hmm.
of crossing over. What's something that you wish you were told? Like what's something you had to learn on your own that maybe if somebody had either seen it coming or been there before, what would have kind of helped you or given you some clarity?
Well, growing up in the church, you become sheltered
Mm-hmm.
to the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is church.
Yep.
Everything is the relationships that you form from being in church.
Mm-hmm.
And, the outside world is the worldly relationships that you don't want. Um, but you should be able to cross over between your career, your schooling, and your Christian or spiritual relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time finding my footing with not feeling like I'm compromising, but still being gratified and effective in my career or in my education within the world.
Yeah.
So I wish that I was taught the balance and
Mm-hmm.
how to compartmentalize between my Christian faith and that walk and being a part of this carnal world,
Yeah.
because that was very difficult for me.
Yeah. And it's definitely something that I can relate to because I think I had
Hmm.
a lot of the same kinds of struggles when I went away to school. And it was just a constant question of shouldn't I?
Right,
And some things weren't necessarily wrong. It just wasn't, like you said, something that you were exposed to. Um,
right.
and it's very easy to be afraid, you
Hmm.
know. And I can think of a lot of things that I didn't pursue or didn't, engage in that might have been beneficial to me, but I was afraid because I didn't know different from, like you said, what I had been taught. And so I think that that's so important, right? Having somebody
Yes,
kind of standing behind you and saying, "Hey, you can try it,"
right,
right? And here's how you can help navigate, right? Like what are some guiding questions, right, that you can ask
right,
yourself to help you understand that this is whether this is a decision that supports or goes against what you believe, and
believe, right.
what's being poured into you isn't exactly what you need, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
It does.
Like there's that basic, this is what it is to be a Christian, but then there's other stuff on top of it that didn't
Hmm.
necessarily have to apply to each individual, and so there's a lot of that kind of unlearning and then relearning something new.
Yeah, I noticed that, our generation, when we grew up, we were on the cusp of being very inquisitive and
Mm-hmm.
curious. But our parents were of the generation that strictly went with do as you're told. So they didn't have the tools to be able to answer our questions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no bridge. But
Mm-hmm.
now we are the bridge
You are the bridge.
for that generation because we heard the do as you're told, but we tried it a lot.
Yeah.
And the generation that's after us, where they're like, no, 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 we need an answer. We have a question and we need an answer. And it's okay
No
if you
mental.
don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what was hard. And it's funny, I have these conversations now with my younger siblings
Mm-hmm.
and my mother and my father. I need explanation. It's no more of the do as you're told
Mm-hmm.
for this society that we live in.
Yeah.
If I'm asking, it's because I really want to know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Help me get to the know.
Help me
Help
get
me get
there.
help me
Yeah.
get there.
And
So
I love that. Don't shut it down. And I
right.
think that that was something that a lot of us had experienced, right? You don't have the answer for me, but instead of,
Hmm.
encouraging me to go find it, you're just going to shut it down because you don't have the answer. You don't know what to do.
Right.
And so we're just going to
Right.
close the door on that. And I absolutely agree, right? Like this generation coming up, it's like, you not going to close the door. You don't have answers. I'm going to keep asking.
No.
I'm going to stop asking you. We'll just
I learn it every day with my children. They will not stop asking the question until they get the answer. Even if they don't understand the answer,
Mhm.
it's still an answer.
Yeah,
They need an answer. So
yeah, for sure. In that vein, right?
mhm,
Go through these changes in life. We go
mhm,
through these, personal and spiritual evolutions. And we definitely have our stronger moments in
mhm.
Christ and in our relationship with God. And then we have our weaker moments, right? And so for you, what would you say helps you when you need that pickup, that encouragement? How do you remind yourself, okay, God is still here. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't feel good about the situation. Whatever it is, God is still here. But what's that reminder for you?
The reminder is that I know He's always here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing that He is not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the building up of my faith, that I know that He's consistent
Mm-hmm.
and He's faithful. So even when I'm unsure, He's sure and He's
Right.
committed to me. So I can always go to Him for
Mm-hmm.
every answer that I need. But it requires me being patient as
Mm-hmm.
well and really trusting Him to order my footsteps
Mm-hmm.
and word my mouth and guard my heart
Yeah.
and keep my mind.
Yeah.
And that's my prayer every day before I walk into my office and have to deal with different personalities
Mm-hmm.
and being of aid to people concerning their dental health.
Mm-hmm.
They need answers. Most answers I can help provide.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know,
No.
and I will get you an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And waiting and being patient. And that's how they've built their trust in me to help them along. So I take my spiritual faith and
Mm-hmm.
apply it to my vocation. In my prayer, the first thing I do say is, Lord, you are my shepherd, and I shall not want.
Mm-hmm.
And I leave it just as that.
Mm-hmm.
And I go into exalting and praising him for who he is and who he's been.
Mm-hmm.
And then I give my petition.
Yeah.
Um, but in everything, I start with who he is. Lord, you are my shepherd, and I
Yeah.
shall not want.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much. This was such a great talk.
I love you, my girl.
I love you too. We definitely have to connect some more, but
Yes,
I believe, we heard you.
yes, yes,
we're
yes.
gonna we're gonna hold it close to our heart. So I
I hope
appreciate
it helps. I hope I've helped. And if anyone should have any questions regarding the dental industry, Touch by Nova is here
that's it.
to assist you.
Touched by Nova. And we will tag it on the socials.
All right.
All right. Take care,
Thank
babe.
you. Love you. Bye
Love
bye.
you.